I think the experiment has been conducted, and Score should not be allowed to play that Nidalee again.
Well, they
We'll
did
see.
play around it okay in game number 1, but we're just going to see the same bans here. KT on the blue side for the 3rd game in a row.
Yeah, KT, I mean, they made it work last time, so yeah, why change things?
Yep, they're actually going to ban the Elise this time.
Huh, all right. Well,
So will be a Rek'Sai ban here. Samsung could just leave up the Rek'Sai and say, you get Rek'Sai or Nidalee.
it's true. Could guarantee themselves one of those
Nope.
picks, but nope, they will ban the Rek'Sai. So you'd have to
Nidalee
imagine, yeah.
will almost
probably-
certainly be that first pick. Now, they did leave up the Jhin this time. So Samsung has an opportunity to take it. It has served them well in this gauntlet run thus far.
I do wonder why they're more worried about the Elise than the Jhin, with how Ruler's been performing on that.
Well, we'll see how the rest of their draft plays out. They could go back to the Malzahar, which may mean that they want to run a less mobile mid laner. And so the Elise would have the ability to gank the mid lane easier.
Could be. Now, the Echo is banned in game 1, was not banned in game 2, but nobody picked it.
Yeah, they have to take the Bard here, otherwise KT is going to take the Bard in the next round of the draft.
You'd think so.
But
I do like the Bard. I think Achani's been really good at shutting down Ruler when he pops that Jhin ultimate, but they are going to leave it up, taking the Lissandra instead.
well, they're still trying to shut down Fly's champion pool right now. Fly could play the Zillion this time, though.
That's true. That is very true. They did leave the Zillion open for Fly now. He had the option to play it in game number 1 as well, but went with the Malzahar.
Well, we didn't see any Zillion from Fly in the playoff run that KT had, but we saw it towards the end of the season.
True.
And they've got some time to work with here to counterpick the mid lane. So blind picking the Gnar may be the way forward again. Cuvée, will he be bold enough to go for the Kennen? Once again, the Sivir goes to Arrow now, and I'm surprised they're not taking the Bard, though.
Yeah, I mean, it gives Samsung another chance to take it, and we know Core JJ can play the Bard. It's one of the few picks that we have seen him have games on.
I would think this would be Echo Bard for Samsung as a blocker pick.
It would make the most sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, and if they give the Bard the crown, makes sense. It's easier to swap. Ruler and Cuvée just swap at the end. Crown and Core JJ just swap. See, they're setting that up too. It's swapping synergy.
It is. Got the flex picks at least. So now there's no guarantee that the Echo's going topside, and the Lissandra's going mid, but overwhelmingly likely.
Yeah.
Braum going to be locked in just to deal with the Jhin ultimate. If you can't get rid of the curtain call through a Tempered Fate, you might as well just be able to block it with the Unbreakable. And they're thinking about this Zillion. It would put a lot of pressure on Arrow to carry this game, considering that they're not going to have a lot of late game damage out of Gnar and Nidalee. But it may allow Score to itemize for more burst damage, potentially a Lich Bane, if you have the Zillion, because you can just all in with the Nidalee and not worry so much about dying because you will be revived. So, cool stuff. I love reverse matchup Stoa. They're one of my favorite things in League of Legends.
Well, we've got one now. Fly's like, all right, you didn't do too well on that Zillion last game, so let me show you how it's done.
Yeah, but the problem is that he's still going to be vulnerable to a lot of that burst. The combination of the Lissandra ultimate with a curtain call
Very true.
could mean that he dies before he actually has a chance to pop that Chrono Shift. But Fly going to come back and see if he can show Crown why he's been considered the very best Zillion player in Korea.
Well, it is easier to be the very best when you're like one of the only people that does it.
Hey, Faker does it too from time to time, so that says something. Fly is weird champion pool. He's the Aurelian Soul and Zillion player, but he is magnificent on those champions.
I think Faker just gets reminded of champions. He's like, oh, I should give that one a try. It's like he sees Master Yi on the ladder. He's like, I should play some Master Yi in champion, shouldn't I? Sees a Zillion. He's like, oh, yeah, I can play Zillion.
Well,
Usually.
regardless, Fly is certainly the better Zillion player.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll see what he can do. Now, Samsung has a chance here. If they can shut down the Sivir early, the mid-game damage from KT is going to be quite low. They really need Arrow to get big and get a few items so that he can be the primary carry in these team fights. So all eyes will be on him. He cannot fall behind in the laning phase like he did in game number 1, or else there's not going to be any teeth to KT Rolster's composition.
Very true. Well, one of these two teams will put themselves one win away from going to the 2016 League of Legends World Championships. Will it be KT? Will it be Samsung? There's only one way to find out. Let's get in the game. And here we are, another Infernal Drake to start us off in Game 3 between KT Rolster and Samsung. The crowd is packed today. Both of these teams having pretty rabid fan bases, and they're out in force tonight, as they should be. It's been a great series.
Exciting to see Samsung take their first win since 2014 against KT.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Crowd just going for the Lissandra remix. Oh,
Hello. Looks like space, doesn't it?
oh, it's Ryu. And
Oh, it is Ryu. Whoa, it's been so long, Ryu.
Doll has no idea what's going on.
I don't know. I just said it looked like space, as in it looked like an area of unfilled, space. But then I realized that within that space there was a famous mid lane player named Ryu.
There was a Ryu. There was a Duke too.
It's true. That's right. You were to cheer on their former KT brethren. Do it for Ryu is like the Remember the Alamo of KT Rolster, basically.
Hey, he was avenged. They finally beat SKT in the reverse sweep.
He was.
Ryu's not dying anymore.
That's true, yeah. Ryu's spirit can rest in peace, and apparently his body can come and watch games of League of Legends at the eSports Stadium.
I'm sure the rest of H2K will be showing up shortly for some nice quality boot camping.
Oh yeah. Quality camping.
I can't wait to see how high Forgiven can get in Korean solo queue. That's going to be a fun one.
It's going to be neat. A lot of grasp coming out from Ruler and Core JJ.
Yep. Long range matchup with the Bard and the Jhin in the early phase of this game, which is why it might be a little bit tough for Arrow and Hachani. Be very careful about how they play this. Core going to realize where this Nidalee is. Red buff. I get tapped by the Winter's Bites, but no real follow-up here. Arrow just actually misusing his spell shield right there, the dancing grenade. It's all about the cautious farming, Villa.
Yep. Both teams have a win now. Both teams have a loss. So it's time to approach this game with a little bit more caution then.
Arrow's late mechanics right there were not very good. He missed an easy CS and missed his spell shield. Awkward.
Being cautious. Want to lull those minions into a false sense of security.
Right. I let your friend live, but you're gonna die.
That's right. I let him live to warn the others about what happens when you come into this lane.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is dangerous from Score.
Yeah.
Top lane's pushed up, so
behind enemy
Cube
lines.
Cube's able to roam on this one.
All right.
It's going to be a very creative escape for Score to get out of this one.
Well, he can go for walls, and he's going to have to. Crown coming in.
Crown's on level 6.
Yep, there's the flash fly there. Oh, Crown tried to flash W to lock him up, but he wasn't quite close enough. So, unfortunately, what could have been a free flash for Samsung ended up being a trade between the jungle and the mid lane.
Even if Crown had hit that W Doa, the odds that they were going to be able to kill Score were very, very low. There wasn't an ultimate from Ambition either. He's also level 4, so they couldn't knock him further back.
Hello.
So I don't know about using that flash, even if you do hit the Ring of Frost. I think you just take the victory of...
Uh-oh, time to take a magical journey. Core might need to flash. Arrow zoned out by that Deadly Flourish. Ruler really low himself too. Man, this is a bloody bot lane so far this game.
Arrow had to use both of his summoners from whatever happened to that bottom side, though, so that's another big win for Samsung.
Crown stun. That's a lot of damage coming up from that Zilean already.
Yeah, early game Zilean, you got the range advantage, easy to hit those double bombs because Lysandra has to walk up to the wave to Q. So, Fly should have his way with Lysandra, especially pre-6 where he can't be all in.
Oh, man.
Second bomb.
Fly's a very good Zilean. Ambition zoning a bit, helping clear out the wave for Crown to go back, I guess.
2 TPs used into the top side right now. Echo should be doing fine versus the Gnar up until the first item purchase. That's where someday, when he gets that frozen mallet, causes a lot of problems for the Echo because he will just be kited indefinitely even with the phase dive. Otherwise, pretty even matchup before that. Because if someday does start autoing you, you have the time winder and the phase dive just to try and trade out. But Cuvée not getting the better end of the buys right now. Someday about to hit Mega, not in 6 yet.
And that Infernal Drake kind of looming in the back of both teams' minds right now. KT was able to take it last game. Cuvée and Someday still trading blows.
Oh wow, you went for that. A little bit of a mind game right there. Someday didn't actually go for the last hit on the cannon minion instead.
Oh, didn't use the ult though. Maybe he was going to, and Mega Gnar just ended a little bit early.
Yeah.
I think that might have been it.
Yeah. Quite get it in.
And normally you wouldn't want to give up that cannon minion.
Score. Let's see if maybe he can find something out of Cuvée. Cuvée really just wants to use his ult to get back into lane after a bye and try and punish Someday, who doesn't have that same ability to get back into lane quickly.
Yep.
So is he gonna go? Score is here.
Yep. Cuvée, I think, was pretty ready for that. He might still get the kill here. Someday in trouble. Cuvée on the run. There's Ambition. Yeah, Someday about to go Mega Gnar.
Playing with fire a little bit. Someday was attacked by the minion wave and nearly died. Ambition zoned out with a spear. Someday tries to bait him in, but can't quite hit that Mega in time. So he's gonna have to recall. He will most likely lose a few CS to a turret push off of this, but no real other choice.
Score going in under Ambition again. We saw what happened last game, and that could be, if that stun lands, Ambition could be in trouble. The bomb goes on to Score instead, and that's going to be first blood going over to Fly. Gets it with the bomb. Score still in there. They get the exhaust on the Crown. Cuvée coming in for the return kill, and actually it's 1 for 1 at the moment. Now the double kill comes in for Fly. Good start for that Zilean. They did trade junglers, but Fly's still coming out ahead.
Yeah, Johnny faster on the roam, so able to get their first arrow. Going to try it all in right now. Nice dodge.
Yeah, he uses the ult.
No.
Looking good. Ruler needs another auto. Needs one more. Flashes into the bush. Tries to use the vision, but it's not enough.
Wow, Arrow saved the pink ward in case he went into that brush. He already had a ward in the lower brush, so Arrow outplaying right there, and he didn't even have either of his summoners.
That's a duel to be proud of right there.
The heal just about to come back up, but Arrow sidestepped the Deadly Flourish, and he knew that even if Ruler was able to flash into the brush, so he could just put down the pink, get the kill, and he already had that BF sword, so nice play by Arrow.
Yeah.
Now he's ahead in that lane. He's up 20 CS.
That was a truly impressive AD carry duel.
Wow, I'm shocked Arrow knew that he was going to be able to win this, but he does spell shield the dancing grenade, and then he just dodges out that Deadly Flourish. Nice weaving in of the auto attacks. And watch this. Low, but Ruler has nowhere to go. Waits for the flash, pink ward, auto. Nice job from Arrow.
Well played. KT jumping out to a pretty decent early lead here at just 9 minutes. Maybe.
Holy moly, Fly off of that double kill has a 9-minute Rod of Ages. That's about 4 minutes before he should have it, 3 or 4 minutes.
No.
So he is doing quite well, going to be stacking that up nice and quick. So everything going to plan so far for KT. Someday has not gotten a kill, but he will have an advantage once that item buy, the Frozen Mallet, comes through for him onto Cuvée. They have an early scaling item onto the Zilean in the mid lane. Arrow has a huge CS lead and a kill lead. And remember, he's the one who has to get big, so that Zilean pick is really effective. He's got to be the big carry, and with this kind of advantage, he's certainly set up to be.
Yeah. Cuvée recalling after losing out on another trade to Someday. Echo in our matchup not going as well as Cuvée would hope, I suppose. Not the moment.
He will take those early favorable trades, but just a game of patience for Someday. Eventually, they will get the upper hand. So Magical Journey going to go out.
Yeah, Arrow
popped.
Used the Sivir ultimate. And the mid laners meet. Score is right there. Crown ease back over the wall. Takes a good chunk of damage on the way out. Ooh, narrowly does not get hit by that spear.
Just so annoying. Crown is also going to be going for the Rod of Ages.
It's going to be much later, though.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to have a delayed timing and fly with a highly accelerated timing compared to average.
And still, that Infernal Drake, cause for concern.
KT really should start thinking about going for this one while they're in this enormous early game power spike from their advantage. Of course, Italy certainly capable of soloing out Drakes in the early game, and couple that with just the lane pressure right now. You can see Crown is really struggling to deal with the wave clear from the Zilean.
Yeah, he's taken a pretty good amount of damage on that turret already.
Gonna have to recall. This might be the timing they need to go for the Drake.
Could be.
TV's up though. Should use it.
Feels pretty obligated. Yep, there it is. All right. Back in lane, here comes Ambition. I'm thinking about going in for that gank, but the opportunity just not quite there. Core JJ takes another Magical Journey out.
Just waiting for this Drake.
Yep.
Someday.
It's 2,000 gold lead already, though, for KT.
Yeah, it's a very good position for them to be in.
Someday, forcing Cuvée out again right away. Dodging the stun. Fly in a little bit of trouble. Crown going in for the 1v1. Fly very low. He's got his flash, though, and here comes Score. Gets ulted.
Hey, Fly had already ulted himself. Crown not with a lot of AP yet, so ult not going to do much. 4 stacks already on the Rod of Ages in the mid lane for Fly. Goes back, picks up his lost chapter. Looks like probably going to be going for a Morello Nomicon, and then stopping a little bit of Crown's ability to self-heal with his ultimate. He chooses to do that. And Echo too. Otherwise, just right back into those standard lanes.
Yeah.
Now, if KT can push out Crown one more time, they will be able to take the Infernal Drake and maybe the mid lane turret too. So we'll see how heavily they play around mid advantage. Looks like they want to start off here by stealing a red buff. Fly already zoning with the bombs, but Cuvé's on his way back. Score has to be careful.
Yeah, he's kind of caught in the middle, trying to get back over the wall. The Baron Pit has to burn that flash. Nobody deciding to use flash to follow. They're happy to just take the summoner away, and every time something like that happens, you wonder if maybe that's going to be the cue to go for this Infernal Drake.
Well, looks like he did get the red buff though, so he comes away with something for his trouble.
Could be worse. Could be better. CS still fairly even up in the top lane. Cuvée a few down, but not a huge amount.
Yeah, everything still going well for Arrow in that bottom side, though. He hasn't increased that gap when it comes to CS, but he was the one who got the cull, so a little bit of extra money for him.
Yep.
From the itemization. And now he should be quite well accelerated on this Sivir. Worth noting that Crown has now gone for the Merc Treads before finishing the Rod of Ages, so that's going to delay it even further, but really felt that he needed the MR and the reduction on the stun from Fly's bombs here to avoid an untimely death in the mid lane.
This 2v2 down in bot has been action-packed as well. Arrow, though, the only one with the kill at the moment.
Here's where the table's really turning that top side. Frozen Mallet now done, or someday Trinity Force still being worked on by Cuvee. Have to be careful that you're not going to get 1v1 by the Gnar in this situation because trading is a lot harder. Cuvee doesn't have any mana. Someday do an extra auto attack in right there. They're going to have to play this defensively. Ambition coming up. Wards start to go down here. Deep for KT after Someday pops over and gets one right by the Krugs. Fly force Crown back, so this may be close to the mid lane turret. Not going to be quite there. Scorer had recalled, so a bit dangerous. Someday chipping away at that turret and at Cuve's health bar. Cuve did go back and then use his ult to get back in lane, but you can see he's almost out of mana again.
Yeah, it's tough to defend that turret like that. Crown forced to back away for the moment. And here comes Ambition. They want to do everything they can to save that mid lane turret. If they lose a mid lane turret, it's going to be really hard to stop KT from taking the Infernal Drake.
KT just playing this patiently, playing the game of chip the turrets and wait for the opening to take the Infernal Drake. They haven't had a true clear-cut one yet, and we haven't seen Score try and gamble and go for it by himself. Also, Samsung, you can see, has done a good job of keeping wards behind the Drake pit right there to make sure that they know what if Score is going to be hopping on over. Score clears it out with the sweeping lens, but guess what? Ward goes right back down there. So poor JJ knows the information that he needs to get. Make sure that the Infernal Drake doesn't go over as a freebie to KT. Johnny all on his own.
Yeah, uses that ultimate on Braum before flashing back over the wall to get away. And those are two, that's a summoner and ultimate that KT could have used to secure that Infernal Drake, I think.
Yeah, well, didn't really have a choice. He had nobody near him. No opportunity to respond, so better to stay alive right there.
Oh, wow, they're going to walk right up on the core JJ.
Gets stunned in the magical journey, but still manages to get through, just chunked out a little bit. It's all been about a battle for wards on this bottom side, with both teams vying for the opportunity to take that Infernal Drake early. Samsung has actually done a good job of preventing this from going down. Uh-oh.
Wow, two members of KT locked up under the turret. Here comes Samsung from behind, Score in a lot of trouble as the turret does go down. Score lives for the moment. Someday joining the party as well. Ajani coming from the bot lane. Core JJ from around the side. Arrow there to do damage on that Sivir. Looking for one. Someday picks up the first kill of the fight. Cuvée trying to get away. KT, if they can get like one more, go for a pretty easy dragon. They might be able to take the Drake anyway with how low Samsung is across the board.
Yeah, they're probably going to go for it right here.
I think you do.
Teleport used. Now, Crown still has his if he wants to come in, so would be risky. Doesn't have ult. He's probably just going to have to give this up. Someday is here. Ambition needs to be very careful around this Gnar. He can't stop the red buff from being taken, nor that pink ward from being destroyed, so Someday gets the red, looks like in the end. And it's an attempt at an all-in, but the tower's just too low. Crown really does overextend right here. They had to give that turret up. Score gets the ult down onto him, has to flash out of the Tempered Fate, but manages to stay alive. He will miss the spear, but look at how Someday plays this fight. Big damage onto Ambition, and Crown throws the boulder toss in there to pick up the first kill, and Score, after using the heal and the potion on himself, does manage to land some parting damage onto Crown, even if it doesn't actually secure the kill, but it does get them that Infernal Drake, and KT in a wonderful position in the early stages of this game.
I mean, 4,000 gold lead, Infernal Drake taken, a little bit of a kill lead. This is starting to look very familiar to what we saw last game.
Well, Also, Fly at 19 minutes has a fully stacked Rod of Ages.
Yeah. KT certainly looking good so far in this one. Fight over the blue buff, but it does go over to Crown in the end. They're going to go on to Arrow immediately. Achani right there to try to block. Drops a Braum ultimate. Arrow gets ulted by Lissandra. Tries to get away. Revive brought him back up. Yep, explosive cask just creating some distance between Samsung and KT. Crown chasing. They'll fly a little bit low. They're going to go for the kill. They're going to get it. Samsung turning this one around. Meanwhile, whoa, speaking of turning around, another kill for Samsung coming in before KT gets one. And so Samsung wins the fight, but the turret in top lane does go KT's way.
Yeah, Cube responded.
Uh-oh, Score in a little bit of trouble. Ruler flashing ahead. Poor JJ right there as well. Ruler picks one up on the Jhin.
Yeah, fourth shot there, loaded up, so nice flash by Ruler. Knew that Scores was still down from the last fight. And Cube roams down. KT doesn't expect that. Someday does take out the turret, but because both top laners had their TPs down, it was a pretty sloppy engagement. KT here. See, Arrow does get chunked out before this fight even starts. Has to use Flash to get out of the curtain call range. So if we take a look at Fly, Fly is going to go ahead and ult Arrow. Brings it back to full HP, actually, because of how much AP he already has at this point in the game compared to the health totals at this low level. But Fly gets caught in the pit. Cube comes in from the flank. Great job of dealing with Arrow, who didn't have ultimate, didn't have Flash. So easy for Echo to stick to him, and Someday not roaming really did cost them right there. So KT sees their gold lead shrink a little bit, but no turret actually taken by Samsung. You get 4 kills.
Well, they've managed to close the gold lead a little bit, but still a lot of cause for concern, especially that with that Infernal Drake on KT's side.
Yeah, it does have to be Arrow carrying this game, so you can see what happens to this team competition. The Gnar isn't there, of course, 5v4, but also if Arrow dies early or has to use all of his mobility, he can be hunted down, and then there's just not enough damage remaining.
Yeah, and Arrow's the one who's supposed to be on the hunt, so if he gets hunted down, you know that's a problem for KT.
Is Sivir some sort of huntress?
I think so. I mean, her ult is called On the Hunt, so I would imagine yes.
What do you think Sivir hunts?
The Yordles.
I would hunt Yordles if I
Yeah,
lived in Runeterra.
I think that sounds pretty good. Get your Yordle license.
Get your Yordle license. Yep. Scalp a few of them, you know.
I just take their ears and make a necklace out of them.
Nice. Furry ears.
Yep, you know it is. Yordle ear necklace. Why isn't that an item in the game? Well, I suppose because Yordles would feel very uncomfortable buying it. Samsung finally gets their first turret of the game. They are awarded with a Yordle ear necklace. I'm just kidding, they're not.
I wish we've got to make League of Legends more gritty like that, though.
Yeah. Like
let's just change gold to like minion scalps or something like that. Or minions.
Sure.
That's the form of currency.
How about faces? Wait, the minions don't have faces really. They're just kind of two. They got the like, they got little like mask things. Face masks. There you go. Well, that kind of makes it sound like you're being paid in cosmetic supplies. So, never mind. That doesn't exactly make it prettier, does it? It just makes it
Minion masks.
smoother and more exfoliated.
It really does make your pores look smaller.
That's right. That's the idea, you know. That's what the shopkeeper's telling you. He's like, you could have a shining, radiant face with tiny pores. You know what I say to that? How can I sweat? My pores are that small.
I say I
might overheat.
I'd rather have a big sword than a bunch of minion masks.
That's right. What about the small pores?
Big swords are better than small pores, Doa.
I agree. I think that's a given. You can do so much more with a big sword. Small pores? What are those for?
Yeah, you can't be Highlander with small pores.
That's right. They don't say there can be only one with small pores. Just there can be only one overall.
Now you gotta have a sword for decapitations.
That's the idea. Yep. On the hunt. Well, more like running away.
Long lane though, without that turret there.
Yeah. I had enough well, had some vision, but saw the collapse coming in because of it. And someday duking it out. Score caught up with that deadly flourish, just barely out of the range of that curtain call. That was close.
Got to burn his flash again right there.
Yeah.
Here comes Crown. He looking for something on the opposite side.
He's thinking about it, but the turret's still up. You really can't go over the wall in that case, I think.
Yeah, they really want this Ocean Drake, and somebody not going to stick around this top lane. Looks like he's going to TP.
All right, they're going to go for it. Someday coming in from behind. KT trying to trap Samsung.
Oh, no, he missed.
A little bit. On the outside, there's a Braum ultimate going right through Samsung. Ruler does spell shield it. Arrow on the outside, waiting for that opportunity to do damage. He needs to do a lot, too. Almost gets an auto range of ambition before he gets away, but it looks like the rest of KT is doing just fine. Someday with the double kill, and now Arrow can go to work here. Well, or Fly can. Someday gradually wearing down his opponent. That's a triple kill now for the Gnar. And Fly chasing Crown. Yep, let me show you how the Zillion's done, Crown. Sorry about this.
Oh, nice actually escape there before he could get stunned. He's still
chasing. Oh, there we go. He's accepted his fate now, perhaps.
Bot delivery service.
Yep.
Oh, he dodged it.
Wow, look at the plays. Crown. Fly's like, I may need a little help here.
Guys,
I'm only one
team.
I'm an old and frail man. Wow, still doing it. Crown going for this. Fly trying to survive. He has to escape into the base.
He doesn't have any mana.
Bit off a bit more than you can chew there, huh, Fly?
Score gonna headbutt into a wall. This is a comedy of errors right here.
So.
Crowd's still on the run. Can he get out?
I'd feel the same way. I'd slam my face into a wall after watching that, too.
Uh-oh. Blue Trinket found him. No, Crowd, no!
Run or slide. He dodged the pounce. Someday, zoning on Core JJ in the back there. Whoa, goes for another kill. He gets it. Meanwhile, Crown still alive for the moment. Fly TPing in.
The revenge of Fly.
There we go. Let Fly get it. Come on, let him get the kill. There's the auto. He deserved it. Oh, Score takes it in the end. Look at the plays. Look at the moves.
Wow, that was hilarious. But at the same time, KT does take a tier 2 in the mid lane.
Yeah.
And they pick up a couple more kills.
That's an 8,000 gold lead now.
Yeah.
It's pretty good for KT.
That was some fancy footwork there by Crowd, though. He played the ranges on those bombs super well. And even though Fly was trying to pick up the bomb and deliver them onto Crowd with his head,
there's only so much he can do.
Well, he ran him out of mana.
Yeah, Fly double bomb on himself there. Kube on the run, but he's got the whole KT team to worry about. Snapping back with that Chrono Break, but he's pretty much just broke now. Ruler takes an arrow to the face, but he's not disturbed too much by that. Spooky Ghosts. That's a big minion wave in the top lane, but it looks like someday he'll eventually be able to burn through that.
Yeah, someday has 5 kills too, so
Watch out for those
no
spears.
way the Echo can split push against him. Basically, Echo has to kill the Sivir, but Echo actually isn't very good at killing Sivers.
I guess so.
Because basically, Echo is great against like Jhin or Ashe, or well, I'll talk about that in a second. Somebody does miss the Gnar right there, but it doesn't matter. He is incredibly fed. So able just to burn through Echo eventually. Look how long they say this. Arrow playing it smart. He uses his spell shield first to make sure that Crown isn't going to use his ult, and then they try and burn him down. But watch Arrow here. He gets so much HP back. He's basically back to full HP.
Not bad.
There's that Zillion ultimate.
And then it got very silly.
And then it got really silly, yes. But KT did the right thing. They split up so they could maximize the number of objectives that they could get. They did eventually kill Crown. It did take a TP from Fly to get back into that fight, but they grabbed another kill.
That's right.
All the objectives going their way so far.
Just that single turret for map objectives for Samsung this game. KT setting up some vision around the Baron now. It's about time, I suppose.
Side mini wave control has been pretty good for Samsung. It's been a struggle for KT to actually push forward with their advantage.
Yeah, it does feel like they've been the ones being forced to react to the side waves this game, rather than set the pace despite being ahead otherwise.
It's interesting to me that Core JJ still builds the Frost Queen's claim. We don't see it on other Bard players or really on anybody these days, but he's been building it consistently throughout the gauntlet and sort of popping it off cooldown just to get a little bit more vision.
Yeah, there is that. Cuvée and Someday going at it. I suppose you also set things up for easier engages with Crown. You know, you set things up to make it easier for Ruler to hit that curtain call, I suppose, with the Frost Queen's claim.
Yeah, great point. Definitely.
So it's got some utility in this team comp.
Does make you really squishy.
Yes, it does.
So that's the downside. It's going to have a pretty delayed Aegis here as a result of that.
Cuvée back to lane. He is getting ever closer to being flame horizoned here.
Yeah, Someday having an excellent game here.
That Nara is fed.
Trying to check what they can around this Baron. There are currently 4 pink boards for KT around the Baron pit, so difficult for Samsung to get any kind of information whatsoever. They do have a blue trinket on Ruler. Take a peek. They need to.
Meanwhile, Samsung just kind of fishing for opportunities here. Seems like they kind of need a pick or maybe just a insane engage. Yeah, this Echo has not worked out for Cuvée too well.
I mean, it is a pick that he's really prioritized, and that's why KT did ban it in the first game of this series. But on the whole, it's tough to deal with the Gnar in most matchups in League of Legends right now. You can outscale it with the Gangplank, but you're still likely to die in the early game. And
yeah,
they tried to Cannon already, which did well in lane, but less well in the late game. But with the Sivir, you can block the initial burst damage coming through from the phase dive on the Echo. And the problem is that Sivir, she plays in the front line, and she can just burn through Echo by resetting her auto attack with a ricochet. Really what I was going to say earlier is Echo is great against Ashe and Jhin because once he gets on top of them, they have low mobility and they sort of just get chased to death. But Sivir can go toe-to-toe in the late game and just chew through the Echo and tends to play in the front line. And particularly when there's a Zillion with the Sivir, you're not going to kill her.
Here we go. KT moving in for the fight. On the hunt, used by Arrow right away to set that up. Crown the one caught, ults himself. Get a little bit of health back. Ambition on the side, big explosive cast. Crown in a little bit of trouble now. Arrow just waiting on the outside of the fights. There's the auto he's looking for. Getting the kill with a bit of damage from that ricochet as well. And now backing off. So KT can be satisfied with that. They did lose Hachani as well.
There wouldn't be a one KT team fight without losing Hachani, though. And that's the rule of KT Rolster.
That is true.
Hachani must die at all times, and then KT wins games.
That's right.
He sacrifices himself nobly for the good of the team.
KT's motto should be Hachani must die. Valor Hachanius. All Hachanis must die. Well, by ambition. Nice flash.
Yeah, definitely shouldn't have flashed there. He was dead no matter what.
Yep.
So, a bit of a mistake, and now they can double back, and they don't need Hachani to do this Baron. Besides, he has boots of mobility, so he'll get there fast enough as it is, and here we go.
Well, KT's starting to try to play a little bit of cleanup. Trying to finish off this game, and this looks like a bit safer Baron than what we saw last time around. Flying Hachani zoning on the outside, that Baron getting lower and lower. Cuvée coming in. Big Gnar ultimate catches a couple people, including Core JJ. Baron taken by KT. Cuvée separated from his team. Score zoning out. Core JJ in the bottom. Fly gets low, but it looks like he'll be okay. Score finds Cuvée. One more spear out. Gets dodged. Someday coming in. Barely misses a boomerang. Cuvée throws the time winder back. Looks like that Echo might make it out. Or not if he runs that way.
Well, they just want to delay him so he can't actually go back to base right now. Going to try and throw some stuff in there. Cuve's not going to get out of this one.
There we go. GA. Back. That's going to be another kill. Score takes it. Score just been, again, playing awesomely on that Nidalee. And so that's going to make it lopsided siege too in favor of KT, with Kuve with his death sort of offset for the rest of his team.
Yeah, also really good lane assignments here. Score takes the wave in the top side after Someday recalls, uses the teleport right onto the minion to make sure that minion wave's going to stay alive. We're going to get another tier 2 turret for their trouble, so maximizing the amount of gold they can get off of that push. And double back and take the Ocean Drake here. Absolutely enormous lead for KT Rolster at this point. It looks like after this game, they will be just one away from making their second consecutive World Championship.
Yeah, and you know, I gotta say, the last 2 games, Samsung just looks straight up outplayed. It's kind of more along what we were expecting in this series. And so, let's see if Samsung can bring it back.
That's great ults from Someday.
Get just 3 there.
And that buys them time to finish off the Baron. They're forced to use the Lissandra ult onto Someday because otherwise, with his items, he basically just slows everybody with the Frozen Mal and tracks them down one by one. I think they did actually have to use the Lissandra ult right there as they were trying to escape. But it doesn't work out. They're too far behind. KT looking to move in for a final push.
Yeah, 15,000 gold ahead now at about 36 minutes. About as big of a lead as you see most of the time. KT looking really good though. We were wondering after that first game, but KT looking like they're back in form. It looks like they found the bans that really work for them too, you know?
Yeah, I like the fact that they just went ahead and just banned 3 powerful champions from Samsung, and Samsung just hasn't had the opportunity. Plus, Samsung keeps playing red side. I think we're going to see Samsung on blue side for game number 4 as they try and take away the Nidalee, or at least alter this draft somewhat.
Certainly could. KT trying to siege as much as they can. It's not the greatest siege comp ever, but they've got a huge lead, so it doesn't really matter quite as much.
Yeah, they also have super minion pressure in the mid lane eventually.
Yep. All right, Sivir ultimate, KT moving in, this is it. They really want to take this. They take the inhibitor turret, they force Samsung back. Ruler has to cancel that curtain call immediately. Arrow gets a kill, gets a double kill, and KT needed this Sivir to do damage, and Arrow delivered. Played all the team fights really well, played it safely, and it looks like KT's ready to end this one. First Nexus turret goes down, Samsung clinging for life, Ground goes in with a big engage, but there's absolutely no follow-up. Lissandra gets taken out, there goes Kuve.
Arrow just keeps getting revived to full HP every time he dies.
Yeah, and there goes the Nexus. So KT Rolster putting themselves 1 game away from the 2016 World Championships. GG.
That was it. Someday delivered a much better performance, deathless at 7-0 and 5. Arrow gets that big outplay, wins the bottom lane handily, and that is how you run a Zillion composition.
Yeah, no kidding.
And KT, always ever the Zillion specialists, and they show why Fly has been drawing those Zillion bans for well over a year now.
And it's disappointing for Samsung, but it's not over yet. The biggest concern, it seems like, is picks and bans. You know, I mean, with those champions banned out, you know, with the Gangplank gone, with the Victor gone, you know, what does Samsung have?
Yeah, that's going to be the big question. Well, they are going to try and change the blue side. I would be shocked if they did not.
Yeah.
They can't just keep giving up this Nidalee as a first pick.
Think
With
they
how
would.
well Score is performing on it, they have to try and get something besides this Gragas that Ambition has struggled with outside of game 1 of this series. It was an impressive Gragas game from him to start things off, but they haven't been able to duplicate that performance since. There's Coach Lee right there, looking to go into his second World Championship.